Well, mi amigos, it is Monday morning, and we have the moon setting on the western horizon just before the sun is about to arise. And that moon is in the process of going full at 0 degrees Aquarius. So it's going to be an interesting full moon. It's been an interesting month, especially for me. As many of you may know, I went into the hospital just about a month ago and technically, for all intent and purpose, died and was brought back to life. So, astrologically speaking, I see that as the end of one lifetime and the beginning of a new one that are concurrent in possession of the same physical body. And I do want to thank all of the people who made contributions to some of the different sites that you could toss some money in my direction. Needless to say, $500,000 worth of medical bills are going to be interesting to address, but hey, I survived death, so I think I'm up for it. Anyway, it was interesting watching nurses stop by the room when I did finally become coherent, which was a week after I went into the hospital, and they would say interesting things like, gee, I'm amazed that you're still here. So having that kind of medical insight always makes one's journey even more interesting and profound. And I will also mention that I am back in the saddle, but I'm going to be going down and spending some time with my kids. So if you send me an email and I don't immediately respond, or if you try to get in touch with me by telephone, please be patient because a lot of changes going on here in my little universe, but probably changes for the better. Now let's take a look at this full moon in Aquarius. And of course, 0 degrees, a lot of astrologers say, oh, it doesn't really mean anything because it's 0 degrees. Well, at the same time, it's also 30 degrees of Capricorn. So for a lot of us, and especially in my mind's eye, it's the finishing off of some kind of a significant cycle in everyone's life. And we've got a lot of validation around that too. If you will take a look at what's happening with other planetary positions, we have a lot of interaction going on right now that I think has significant meaning in our lives here on this little planet in a interesting corner of the universe. And first we're going to start looking at what's happening in Capricorn because it is interesting as the sun is advancing toward Leo now. It's 0 degrees of Leo. We notice that there is this very powerful opposition going on. And that's the combined energies of Jupiter, Mars, and Mercury in early Cancer in opposition to Pluto in Capricorn. So whenever we have Pluto interactive with other planets, and especially with major planets like Jupiter, we have kind of an opportunity here to do a major review of what it is that motivates us, what our purpose is, what our mission is. And I think that a lot of these items are on the table for the next 28 days as this whole configuration continues to advance. And it's time for a big segment of the population to start to awaken to the fact that there are a lot of people on this planet who are in need of sustenance, in need of assistance, in need of help, and more importantly, in need of compassion. And I think that we're going to see a lot of incidents occur over the next 28 days where our compassion, our sense of justice is going to be spiked. And we have been seeing this beginning with situations like the Trayvon Martin incident and other things where a lot of people are feeling like there isn't a real sense of justice, and they are demanding that we look more deeply into all of the events going on around us and try to come up with a better way of approaching life on a day-to-day basis. So as this little stellium opposes Pluto, we will most likely have our ire arise over incidents around us where we feel like people are taking advantage, people are not having to pay their fair share. So it's going to be an edgy month. Summer's here in full bloom, but also our awareness of our environment is definitely going to be in full bloom also. Interestingly enough, this particular full moon is also in association with this very strong trine going on between the major planets, and that would be in the three water signs. We have Neptune in Pisces, we have Saturn in Scorpio, and then we have, once again, the stellium of Mars, Mercury, and Jupiter, all placed in early Cancer. So again, a trine energy has a tendency to pull the components together and create a very passionate interaction of energy between the three. And we're going to see that with watery energy. Water, of course, relates to spirit. So we are going to find a lot of challenges that come up for us on a spiritual level. And within that, a lot of doors opening, a lot of insights gained, a lot of epiphanies. So if you do have your chart handy, you might want to take a look at where this particular trine is happening in your own personal chart, and then relate to that in the sense of applying it to those regions of your life that are being affected by this trine. Additionally, there is the beginnings of an opposition occurring here, as Venus is at 0 degrees of Virgo and is going to be advancing into Virgo over the next few days and be in opposition to Neptune in Pisces. Now, Venus and Neptune are two planets that are very harmonious. They like each other. They interact well with each other. There's a natural synergy there. So this particular opposition, I think, is going to bring up a lot of duality issues that apply to us in the sense of healing, personal health, all that going on in Virgo, as well as in our spiritual identity. So once again, we're going to be drawn onto the carpet, and we are going to have to make a stand for ourselves, and that stand is based around, am I a human being? And am I merely a physical body, which is ephemeral? And if you're identifying yourself as your physical body, be aware of the fact that that body could could be crushed as you walk out the door of a building and a piano falls on you. It's ephemeral. It's not going to stick around. Or am I a spiritual being, an eternal being, an expression of something divine? Even though you may not know how to define that spirituality, if you start to move in that direction of identifying your spiritual identity as being who you really are, I think it will perhaps remove a lot of bumps over the next 28-day cycle and move you more and more in the direction of a real sense of empowerment. Because that really is what it is all about here. We surrender our power to physicality. And in actual fact, we are, as our Creator was, or is, omnipotent beings. And why do we give up? Why do we allow ourselves to be victims of the physical realm, when in actual fact, we can bring healing into those realms, and this grand trine in water is trying to show us the way. So very powerful week and month ahead. I think it would be very good for you to get out there and really investigate your spiritual identity to the extreme, because it is going to lead you to greater insights, greater awareness, and ultimately to a greater sense of control and power over the circumstances of your day-to-day existence. So, fabulous, fabulous full moon in Aquarius, and Aquarius loves to be impersonal, so don't be surprised if things show up where you have to address that challenge. Am I going to take this personally, or am I just going to blow it off and move on? Keep the dance going, mi amigos. Get out there, share the love, pass the love around. And I will be chatting with you soon. Bye now.